What do you make of the Klay strategy? I didn't think he was going to play last night because if you aggravate that, then you may lose him the entire series. And I think that Steve Kerr was basically saying, I'll take a bullet and maybe we lose last night. I just got to have him around because I think this series may go 7 games.
Well, I think part of it was strategic, but part of it was that the Warriors are a relatively conservative bunch when it comes to injuries. They gave Chelsea Lane a lot of leeway when she was there, and they've given the same amount of leeway to Rick Celebrini, who's the head of their medical team now. And when I saw the story that Woj put out, that the Warriors were reluctant to play Thompson, but Thompson was going to keep lobbying, I thought, well, that's a futile attempt by Thompson. He doesn't win that. Yeah. The Warriors always give their medical people, I think, more leeway to make decisions like that than most teams do. So when I heard that, their medicals were reluctant to let him play, I said, well, then he's not playing.
Well, it's a little different, though, going into Friday, though. I get the feeling Thompson's playing, and I guess the biggest question mark, though, Ray, is Kevin Durant anywhere near game ready? And if he is, I'm assuming a minutes count will probably be put in place for Durant.
I don't know if they'll put a minutes count on either one of them. I think they'll just go by feel, which is normally the way they do this. I think Durant has wanted to play for about the last week. But again, he knows that he's up against a medical people who are very conservative about when they green light people. Thompson, I don't know if he'll play Friday because I don't know how much healing you can do with a hamstring over 2 days. I think that's why all the people who are assuming they'll both be back for Game 4 are, A, jumping the gun based on their long years of knowing nothing about medicine, and 2, assuming that all of a sudden the philosophy that the Warriors have always had about injuries is all of a sudden going to change just because they need Game 4.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think, I think Steve Kerr might be, chewing the furniture a bit about it, but ultimately he's always deferred to the medical people, and if they don't like what they see today, I could easily see them saying they're not playing tomorrow either.
I do like what you brought up, and people just assume that the Warriors just lost, well, then Durant and Thompson have to play. That doesn't make them healthier. Like, all of a sudden, you don't go, hey, Kevin's feeling better because we lost this last game. And I think that they have been very conservative. Also, it's a little tricky with Kevin Durant and free agency, I'm guessing, how they show their love and care for him? Or am I overstating that in a situation like this, Ray?
I think you're overstating it because I think they would be as solicitous if they had him under contract for more years. If he had his way, he'd have played last night. He'd have hopped on one leg, but he'd have done it. And I think the same is true of Thompson. But the days of, shoot them up and trot them out there, and if they fall down and die, then they fall down and die, those days are pretty much over. And it's also, they're muscles. They're not like, this is not bone, these are not bone issues. These are not, tendon issues. You can't just shoot up a muscle because if they go out with a half-numbed leg, and they do any more damage, they don't know that they're doing the damage, and then you may have shredded a guy's career. So I think the Warriors, quite frankly, I don't know that Steve Kerr would want that on his conscience, above and beyond everything else. And the medicals, like I said, they wouldn't want that either because forevermore, even if you just wanted to be cynical about it, forevermore they'd be known as the people who ruined Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. I think they're being careful because they're trained to be careful, and they gain nothing by not being careful. If it was a different kind of injury, maybe they'd treat it differently. But I think given what these are, I think they're basically approaching this as though they have season ahead of them, and if it means they don't get a parade, then they don't get a parade.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.